everybody, today I'm going to be filming a baking video with Aubrey. I'm sure you've seen him before, and I decided that I wanted to just basically bake some red velvet cupcakes because I've never made them before. I tried them for the first time this week, like red velvet. I've never had it before, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. It looks really interesting, so we're going to try and do that today. And Aubrey also has a channel, so go and subscribe to him. The link is always in the description. And yeah, he hasn't uploaded in a long time, but you never know. You could always go back and watch some of the ones with me in them if you want to. So yeah, we're just going to talk you through the recipe. Woo! Right. So first of all, you want to get a clean bowl and just the equipment that you think you might need, like a spoon and stuff, or an electric whisk. I like to just use a spoon. And then you want to place in the ingredients that Aubrey is going to list now.
115 grams of self-raising flour, 7 grams of cocoa powder, and 125 grams of castor sugar. Castor sugar.
Castor sugar.
I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, and you want to sieve those in through obviously a sieve into that bowl, just the dry ingredients. And once you've done that, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, so just a small pinch of salt just to add that extra little bit of whatever flavour that adds. 135 grams of soft unsalted butter. You could use margarine if you wanted to. It just makes it a little bit easier to mix in the bowl. 2 eggs, so just 2 casual eggs, just pop them into that bowl with the ingredients that Aubrey listed, so the flour and stuff like that. And then 1.5 tablespoons of buttermilk, but I'm actually just going to use normal milk because I don't have buttermilk, and you know, I think that would just make the consistency a little bit thinner rather than being really thick. Then about 1 teaspoon of red food colouring, and that's obviously going to give the red velvet colour to the cakes, which is like its staple thing, so you want to add some of that in. Give it a good mix around, make sure that it kind of covers every single part of the batter. 1/4 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Personally, I don't like using that because I can taste it in the food. Whenever I eat biscuits, even just from the shop, I can taste that, and I don't like to taste it, so I'm not sure if I add that in, but I might just add a tiny bit in. And then finally it says 1 teaspoon of cider vinegar. I think that's sort of like a traditional thing to pop into a red velvet cake. I don't want to put it in because I don't have it, and I just think a bit weird really, so I'm not going to pop that in. But that is everything for the batter. Give it a whisk around. You can use a spoon or
Whiskey machine
thing.
An
electric whisk, so a spoon or an electric whisk. Give it a whisk around.
Okay, and then we're gonna spoon the mixture into 12 cupcake cases and then put them in the oven.
Yeah, so you get 12 cupcake cases, spoon the mixture in, put it in the oven, and we're going to put it in at 180 degrees Celsius for about 15 minutes. I do check it at 10 minutes, and then probably if I think I need it a little bit after. And to check that they're done, all you need to do is to grab a knife or a skewer or something, pop it into the cake, and if it comes out clean, then you know it's done. That's just the method that I've always used. So then you're going to pop it out on the side, kind of leave it to cool for a little bit. Whilst you either have them in the oven or whilst they're cooling, you can then get on with the cream cheese frosting. So for the cream cheese frosting, you will need
5 grams of unsalted butter, 120 grams of cream cheese, and 420 grams of icing sugar.
Yeah, that is all the ingredients you need for the top, and that will basically be a very pale coloured frosting to contradict.
You're going to say contour, weren't you?
No, I was going to say contradict and counteract. To counteract the colour of the red cake. And that is basically everything. All you need to do is just whisk up the cream cheese and the butter until that's kind of fluffy. Make sure you do that and get it all nicely mixed. And then once you've mixed it all together, this is when you want to add half of the icing sugar into that bowl. Give it a good whisk around, because if you pop it all in, it's just going to go, you know, everywhere, and it's just going to be a massive explosion of icing sugar. And then once you've done half of it, you then put the other half in. Once that is all done and dusted toasted and you've mixed it all together and it's nice and smooth consistency, you then pop it to the side, leave it on the side for a while, because then you're gonna get your cakes, bring them, have a look at them, assess the situation. If you need to cut a bit off some of them because they've like gone a little bit dodgy, then that is what you just have to do.
You need to put your icing in your piping bag, and then you want to squeeze it onto the cakes in a kind of circular motion.
Yeah, so just gently squeeze it round. I often find this quite a difficult task because it just goes a bit everywhere and sometimes it doesn't go very well, but I don't really do it that often, so it's about practice. So I'm going to give that a little bit of a go. Make sure you try and do it as neat as possible. If you run out of mixture before you get to the 12th one, then just think, never mind, I've got like 8 really good looking ones that are Instagram worthy. So once you've iced them, and remember the cakes have to be cool before you ice them, otherwise it will melt. So the icing will melt, so do not do that. And then you might want to put some decoration on. You might just want to leave it like that. So the kind of decoration that you could put on is just some casual everyday sprinkles. I think red looking sprinkles or purple sprinkles will look good to go with the red velvet cupcake, or maybe some love heart sprinkles, or just like a little rose. Maybe you could get an edible rose and put that on top, or an edible flower or something. Or, you know, you could do anything. You could put a strawberry on top, who knows, do whatever you want. But I think I'm going to go down the route of popping some sprinkles on or something. Me and Aubrey haven't actually filmed this yet, so we're kind of just talking about what we're going to do in advance. We are going to head over to Tesco's and choose something to get, so I'm going to have a little look and see what they've got. So yeah, and once that's done, that is when you need to pop them around, set them out so they look all good. You could put them on a cake stand, and then take some good old Instagram pictures and put it on Instagram, and that could be for the thumbnail as well.